Hi, welcome to Get Personal with Finance. Today I'll be reviewing a video that was also sent to me. This is a episode of CNBC Millennial Money. And this is, I believe it's about a 40-year-old who makes $75,000 a year. So let's watch this video.
When I was younger, I thought 40 was just so far up there. Like, you're a grown-up at that point, right? And so I feel like I should have the things together, but I don't have it all together. And I'm learning that that's okay. I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success, and that part of that success is making sure that I'm financially free.
You know, what he said is really important. Financial success is not a destination. It's you will succeed more and more and more. And those successes, again, for me personally, it's built on mistakes that you learn from that, and then you have success because you learn from that, and then that success builds more success or more opportunities that you may succeed at not, and then you keep going. So basically it's a journey, and so that's a great, you always want to make sure that you never feel in any way defeated or that you're too young or too old. That's the wrong mindset to have. It's always that you are future focused and that you're starting from this point moving forward, period. So I can see why he's being featured. It's just, I think his mindset is absolutely right on. So I mean, well, he's 40, so that tells you maturity, right? So good for him. Yeah, it shows real maturity. So how he spends his money.
My name's Diaz. I'm 40 years old. I make $75,000 a year, and I live in Los Angeles. Being from San Diego was amazing, but I did move right after high school up to LA to go to college, and I basically never left. And what I really, really love about LA is that it's where you want to be if you're pursuing a career like I am in the media industry. It's the Mecca. There is no other place that is so concentrated with these types of creative professionals, and the networking is incredible. I've met an amazing set of friends here. When I was younger,
you know, what he said is really important, is that he moved to a place where the opportunity is for what he's passionate about, or what his career passion, or his what he wants to pursue. And that's really important. You know, it's something I learned from my parents that's taught me is, first, you got to choose your friends, don't let them choose you, right? And the other thing is you got to choose your environment. And so, because your environment is where you will grow the most, right? It's like, think of a seed, right? It needs to be planted in the best soil, in the best environment, with good sunlight and just the good environmental factors. And so that's really good. So good for him by jumping in head first and going to a place where the opportunity is. And obviously he just also shared that it's a great place for him to network. So he's mining his environment and his resources. That's really good.
When I was younger, I had a credit card and maxed it out on who even knows what it was, just stuff that I didn't need, but there was no one to tell me, hey, this is how you navigate a credit card, or this is how you use credit. There was a time where my credit just wasn't very good. I didn't have any savings. I didn't know anything about retirement accounts, 401k, investments, none of that. And so once I started talking to my peers and my friends, I started saying, hey, they have things going on. They're buying property, or they're investing in things. And I just started asking questions and reading a lot. And so I sucked it up and said, I'm just tack my debt full on. I don't have any credit card debt. Thankfully, I pay that off every month if I do use my credit card. I've been able to knock down my debt little by little.
He's now talking about the subject of how he manages the finances around debt. And so what he said that's, I don't know, really caught my attention is his friends, right? He starts to be around people that was using money smartly, and so he immediately educated himself. So that's really important, is that I think it's, being young, you need to be very self-aware of your surrounding and ask questions, right? So that's because he asks questions, he's able to then explore further. And because I guess he saw something that was good from the people that he was associating with, his friends included, that it led him to think more financially responsible around being more financially responsible around his debt, and making sure that he's in control of his money and it's not the other way around, and that debt is not going to be something that deters him from or limits him from his goals and his future ambitions and for him to pursue his career success. So that's really good. So he has $6,300 left on his student
so my
loan.
debt to income ratio is much better for when I do go and pursue property, when I do go get that loan to be able to get property that I've been striving for a long time. While I am pursuing these goals, I still need to live my life. I'm a big LA Chargers fan, and so I budget in season tickets. And every year I have a fee that I share with 2 other friends, and we have such a great time. We travel the country, see other football stadiums, and follow our team. We always try to do at least one away game every season.
So this is great. By the way, a shout out to the Chargers. I've been to a Chargers game, so I'm also a fan. I've been to one and I became a fan right away. So next time if I go to one, I might see Isaac. So cheers to that, especially their new SoFi stadium. So pretty cool. So they have a great new home. Just that's a really good example of sharing and just having good control of your finances, is that you can buy something outright, but by sharing it, you're able to then reduce your costs and still get the same benefit, right? Because he's just that's just really wise. I mean, I wish more young people understand, the idea of sharing, like sharing, like streaming services, to sharing internet, to sharing, their club memberships, right? To various stores, so you're able to maximize its value, but not just that, reduce your fixed costs. So you can take that and then, move that towards something else that really enhances your overall finances or quality of life. So that's really wise. So, and especially buying season tickets too. From my understanding, it's cheaper too. So, and what I do is here and then I get deals on resales, because if I just like deals, and so if I can, save $1, I would definitely save $1. Because remember, $1 saved is not equal to $1 earned, right? Because you have to pay taxes. So he's very wise to understand that let's say he pays taxes at a 20% effective tax rate. If he saves $1, he doesn't have to earn $1.20, right? Again, any money that you save goes right back to the bottom line. So think of it, another way to personalize it and to get you excited about saving and paying yourself more is whenever you save, you're paying yourself more because less is coming out, right? So you're keeping more. So the difference goes right back to your savings. Good for him. This is great.
So my health is something that I've really, really been prioritizing over the past year. At the beginning of the pandemic, with gyms closing, I just ate whatever I wanted. I gained quite a bit of weight, and I got to a point where I just was not healthy and I was tired.
By the way, he just shared his overall budget and where his cash flow goes, and it's broken down to different categories. You need to, I cannot stress this enough, you cannot say that you're good at your finances without knowing your numbers. It's like you want to build your body, like he was mentioning about his physical health. It's hard without you getting a full assessment of your beyond your height and weight, your body fat. Without knowing those numbers, then it's kind of hard to know what you can work on, right? Does that make sense? So, and he mentioned his health, right? It's really important, and I would just want to add to that. Mental health is really important. I think this pandemic, if anything, has really brought light to people's mental health too. Because I think, mental is like the very first thing, and then that's kind of like the main operating mental, emotional health, and then it kind of feeds into your ability to want to get physically healthy, to be motivated to do things. So yeah, your health overall is really, really important, and I'm glad he's budgeting a portion of his money to make sure that that gets invested in that category of his overall financial well-being and health. So that's really wise. That's really good. And again, if you don't take care of your health, it's going to catch up to you, and later on you'll be spending a lot of money to then work on your health. So I can tell you, doing this as long as I have, it all gets added up. Let's just put it that way. So if you kind of cheat one area, eventually that area will need to be repaired or needs to be filled, right? So very good. So
and I was tired all the time. I did not want to feel that way. I bought some resistance bands. I pulled up a couple YouTube videos and just started working out. I started running in my neighborhood and shed about 30 pounds.
Good for him. So you see the power of focus. If you focus on something and you're committed, you get good results. And by the way, what he shared is a great example of, he didn't want to get physically better. He was committed to get physically better. I think in like for the younger generation or people that are just, they're not serious, is they share with you their wants. I want to be more fit. I want to make a little bit more money. I want to be better at this skill set. I want to be able to be more efficient at time, whatever, right? Fill in the blank. It's a lot of want. It's when you hear someone shares with you that I'm committed to fill in the blank, that's the big shift that's really important. That's where you go from really, believing in something to knowing that you're going to get results, right? Instead of believing that you're going to have results, you're going to know you're going to have results because you are committed. And I can tell you, I think if I can share a lot of about my personal financial journey, is that it's filled with commitments. It's something I've learned from a mentor of mine that really shifted my thinking, is that you need to stop talking about what you want and start really talking about and really thinking and really be obsessed about what you're committed to accomplish, right? And we're not talking about big thing. It starts with small thing, accomplishing, just eating better, just being better at saving. Just those little things will add up to the big things. I cannot stress enough. Again, the big things are sexy. It's the fruit of someone's labor. It looks really good, but you forget, the labor part that bear the fruit, right? So bear in mind, it's those little things that makes the difference. And I just want to share just that fine point that when you see someone has results, it's because they didn't want it. They were committed. And so, hey, if he's able to build his body that way, I'm sure his finances will quickly follow, or it's already happening.
We can now go back, which I'm so grateful for, because there's so much more equipment that we can utilize at the gym. For me, it's well worth it, especially if I'm going 4 to 5 times a week. But I feel amazing. I feel great. If I can work out outdoors, or if I can run outdoors, that's something that I really, really enjoy.
By the way, just on the subject of it shows footage of him working outdoors and being around people. There's just some magic when you have, just like his commitment to, to build his body, to build, and also his mind, because it looks like he's committed to learning about personal finance and just being better, that it will transfer to eventual financial success or to him accomplishing his goal. I cannot stress that enough. When you see people that accomplish something, it's that same mindset. You just got to apply it to now personal finance. It's really one and the same. Anybody who have any level of accomplishment, they will accomplish personal finance, in my opinion. If you show me someone who never accomplished anything, they're going to have a very hard time accomplishing personal finance. That's just me. It's because that mental discipline and that mindset of commitment transfers to, a person's personal finance as well too. Again, you can't have personal finance without the personal part. So I cannot stress that enough. So this guy is amazing. I really applaud him. He's definitely on the right path.
Being a freelance producer, video producer especially, is a very, very tough road. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to eat. And I needed to pay bills. If I didn't get work, I wasn't paying my rent. There was no food on the table. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'm sitting here 35 years old and having to move from an apartment that I was maintaining on my own back home with my parents. I felt I was in a really dark place at that time. I didn't have any job opportunities. The freelance was dried up, and I did not feel very successful at all. My mom actually helped me say, hey, look, you need to get up, you need to dust yourself off, get back out there. That really helped me get back on my feet and got me back to being consistent. And
by the way, he mentioned just like he was in a bad place where he felt just not good about himself, and he had to live with his parents. Again, at the end of the day, when you go to rough spots, again, I've been there. I've been someone who's really good at saving. And again, I don't save for the sake of saving. I save towards something, right? And towards obviously something that will continue to grow me, to grow my, my overall quality of life and my finances, etc. But I guess when you're future focused, when you're going through tough times, it's okay. But when you don't have a commitment towards just being better, then the tough times becomes very hard to bear. But if you know that this is temporary, and obviously it is, but you're saving yourself towards something and you're learning from your mistakes to move towards something, that to me is kind of the magic of it all. But if you're just drooling on just how life sucks and you got beaten down or something just didn't happen your way, there's no good that comes from it. And in like psychology, they say whatever you focus on expands, right? If you're just focusing on how bad life has dealt you or whatever, your career took a little tumble or issue, then it's just, you're gonna be in that rabbit hole and you're gonna be stuck there. But if your mind but you can give yourself a little break and then start to look to the future, then it makes this little temporary pain bearable, and then you work towards your future, and that will give you so much, not just hope, but energy to move forward, right? I've learned also as well too, when you have setbacks financially, if an investment doesn't work out, doesn't matter, whatever it is, you stumble forward, right? You keep falling forward. You don't fall and then keep going backwards and not being conscious of your mistakes or what you can learn. But yeah, you want to, again, stumble forward and be conscious that it's just going to be another building block towards your success. And this goes to this because, he's 40 years old. I love Warren Buffett. One of the things he said when he was, one of his interviews, he realized when he was younger, learning a lot about finance at a young age, he said he realized that if he can live long enough, he's going to be very wealthy. And I want people to, like, I tell my clients the same thing, and I have that same mindset. If I'm going to live long enough, I'm going to be very wealthy, because if you're learning, right, from your mistakes and you're not going to make those mistakes again, and you're investing and you compound and then you reinvest and then you keep reinvesting, eventually you're going to hit some point where it really hits critical mass, right? Let's say like 5% on $1 million is a lot more than 5% on $10,000. That makes sense? It really starts to snowball and compound, and it starts to really make a big difference. Give it 10 years, 15 years, and you'll see the results, right? But again, just have that mindset of, if you continue on your path, you will be wealthy. You will be, and you will be. You don't just believe that you will be, you know for a fact. Because again, show me someone who's doesn't invest in themselves consistently and work on whatever craft they're doing, and they don't become successful at what they're doing or extremely good and valuable at what they do. I mean, there you go. So he has that mindset. So Isaac mentioned about his family and specifically his mom. And I can tell you on my personal journey, with my own finance, family is really important, and that's going to really center you, and that's going to help you to also have a future focused mentality, because eventually you're going to have your own family, or if that's something, or you're going to get older, right? Let's stick with that. And so the perspective of having a home and having retirement assets to look forward to, etc., is really important. So family, when you're looking at reasons to motivate you, family is a great place to go and search for that motivation. And he mentioned that, growing up, he didn't have the subject of finance being discussed in the home. And that's really sad. And hopefully we change that with this channel, and to make it something that is not a topic of taboo, but it's a topic that you can share and be open with. And if there's anything I've learned is that my family was open about finance, and that's how I learned very quickly at a young age to be responsible, to learn to save, right? Because I've overheard my family speak about, that they have to save money for this, they have to save money for that they have to cut back, they have to account for this, they got to pool, our family's income for certain things. And I also hear about their worries, are we going to have enough for this, for that? And so that just caused me to question. And I also, remember the love and the care that my parents gave me in terms of making us not having to worry about money, but where we can just focus on our education. But she was very open to share with me that she is taking on the responsibility to, about the finances and all those things, so we can just worry about education. And that just really rings to me that, looking back, it really kind of planted that seed in my mind that there's sacrifices that needs to be made, and that for me to have the education, not have to worry about finance, then somebody has to worry about it. So, and for me to kind of show my parents that their investment in me would yield dividends or good results is by then me having to show that my grades are becoming better, that I'm good with the money that I spend, and not just that, but as I grow up, knowing that there are sacrifices, I want to be able to then be financially independent and be smart with money, so then I can give some of that back to them in forms of like paying for their vacation, taking good care of them. They don't have to worry about finance, those things. That it drove me. So. And one of the things I'm very proud of with my own personal finance is that I was able to take care of my parents financially. They have my credit cards, and so they don't have to worry about spending at all. That's why it's important for me to be good at my finances and to be responsible. So all that care and sacrifice that my parents have made for me, I'm able to then pay that forward in a way that to not let them continue to worry about me, and I can, share that back with them and know that their investment in me, pays dividend. And that's something I'm very proud of. But having those ambitious goals really helped me to really strive for more and to read more and to work on my career more and myself, so I can accomplish that for them. So it's that extra driver. I think it's really important sometimes for us to dig deep personally. So for us to then make sacrifices for the bigger things and to want to learn so we can, achieve our goals.
If it wasn't for Mom, I don't know where I would be right now. I did meet a lovely woman last year. There was a lot of video dates. There were a lot of tests to make sure that each other felt safe. And we even went as far as to moving in together recently. Things happen in life. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But I take the lessons from that, and I'm trying to move forward. Being fresh out of a relationship is not the easiest thing in the world. I know a lot of people can relate that breakups aren't easy. So right now I don't really have an apartment of my own per se, or even a place to stay. So I'm staying with friends and family. And so just keeping my head up through this time as well. But living out of a suitcase is not fun. Growing up, money really wasn't something that we talked about in the family. As I got older and as I started navigating my own journey, it's become more important because it's necessary. Investing is something that's been very important to me, and it's something that I'm still very new at, but I do like to be able to put money somewhere and see it grow. One of those is crypto. Okay, so now he's getting into the point about investing and
and he just mentioned crypto, and so that's yeah. So my ears perked. Okay, so when it comes to investing, there are so many vehicles, and I understand, like it says here, you know, he invested with a small amount. So crypto is very easy to invest in, but again, he's not realizing that there are other investments that you can also invest small amounts that's also very easy to invest in. The thing with crypto is that I don't define it as an investment. Again, different people have different, I'm just sharing with you my personal perspective, because if an investment to me has to have financials, it's got to be something that's operational, that it can grow in value because it can generate cash flow. It can grow by adding locations. It can grow by having more intellectual property, content, things of value. And like the crypto space, again, it's very sexy. It's very it's hyped up a lot. It's I mean, it's literally the thing that everybody searches now, that I get a lot of questions about from my clients and from my clients' kids, and it's because it's hard for me to answer, because they're using words that to me doesn't register. Like it's an asset. Well, the asset doesn't produce. My version of an asset is that it has to produce some type of income. It has to grow, and it's not physical, it's digital, and they call it a currency, but it's not a currency. It's supposed to be like safe, but we see that it's not safe because it can be stolen. And so I guess I'm suggesting that there are so many other great investments that he can also learn as well too, to expand his horizon and not limit himself to just one category. Yeah, he really needs to expand his understanding of what else is out there. And I can tell you there are so much, and like you can even buy fractional shares of big companies. So for example, like an Amazon share is, you know, $3,000 plus. You can buy a fractional of that share. So it's the same thing. So something that's a lot more predictable, instead of something that is very speculative, and in my opinion, it's wishful thinking. They wish that, you know, if this happens, then this will be worth this, right? And at the end of the day, an investment is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? So I see these cryptos as a collectible, and people are trading it as a collectible, but to call it anything else is just a little bit too much, in my opinion. Because again, I guess I'm more self-aware, and I have because there's so many investment options out there, that just limiting yourself to crypto is way too speculative, especially when, you know, Isaac is starting his career, you know, to put that money there, and let's just say he loses it all. Oh, that's gonna make a dent in his finances. But not just that, it's gonna make a big emotional dent as well too. So by doing that, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that makes a great addition to his overall, invest. I guess he has his 401k, but again, I think for some reason, everybody that are putting into crypto, they're willing to lose all that money. It's insane. You cannot have that mindset when you invest in something that you're okay losing it. You should not be okay losing it at all. That should not be the starting mindset. It should be where you're very critical about making sure that whatever money you're investing, that it has a very, very, very low probability of losing money at all. Like maybe a couple percentage, but like, you know, to be okay with losing it all, that's not investing. That's like more of a gambler's mentality. So I just advise, you know, anybody that brings up that topic is that, well, okay, show me what you're interested in investing in crypto, and then show me a couple of other investments that you research as well too, and then let's make a comparison, right? So that's a good way to do it, because if you're not really comparing and you're just listening to somebody and you're not really doing your own research and really internalizing you know, what you're investing in and the risks around it, then you're really shortchanging your learning. So, and I know it's something that he stressed that it's really important to him. So anyway, let's continue. But that's that's my reaction there, and it sounds like he's having success, but again, a strong caution.
I've diversified a little bit into other crypto coins, Ethereum, Dogecoin. I believe I've more than doubled my money at this point, and so I'm trying to figure out, do I put more money into it? Do I take my initial investment out? I haven't made that decision yet. I had the opportunity to invest in a 401k in past positions, but I just was not savvy enough. I didn't like the idea of money being taken out of my check. I didn't understand that, no, this is a good thing. You want to have this money taken out of your check. I definitely feel like I'm playing catch up financially because there's a lot of my peers that are much far ahead, but at the end of the day, it's what do I do with my money? And I feel like I'm making much better decisions now, and I'm able to get ahead now.
By the way, be very careful because he references and compares himself to his peers, which is a good thing. And my 2 cents on that is, again, surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that really challenges you, because you're the average of the people you surround yourself with. But don't get trapped in the whole comparison thing, because it would never be enough. Because I have clients who have a net worth of 10 million and they don't feel wealthy because they compare themselves to their neighbor who's worth 50 or 100 million. There's just no, it's a moving target, and that's not what it's about. At the end of the day, we have a sign in the office too that, it says, your day begins and where my day begins and ends with gratitude. And that's something that's really important, because you want to make sure that you are grateful and that you know what is enough, and that you are, again, you're competing with not anybody but yourself, and it's all about how do you, are you becoming better progressively and consistently, or just progressively, and the consistency will follow. But that's kind of the main objective. Don't get too caught up on what others are, because again, like the example I share with you, it's you would never feel like it's enough. But what I see is that he's on the right path, and that's what's important. And he also acknowledged it. So make sure he keeps his mind there and not get sidetracked by this ridiculous comparison or needing validation. So good for him.
Being 40 doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. Being 40 doesn't mean that you have to have all those things that you thought you needed to have together. It's something that I'm learning. Now, I am working full-time, thankfully, in a job that I love and that I'm passionate about, but marriage and kids, that just hasn't happened for me yet. And I'm okay with that. And now I can take what I've learned in my 30s and apply that to my 40s, things like the finances, things like paying things off, or even buying property, or just enjoying life. And so that's what 40 presents to me. Hey, enjoy your life. Just have a good time.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, and happy 40th to you, Isaac. So I'm excited for him, and I'm excited the fact that he has that mindset of being future focused and moving forward. Because, and by the way, I have clients where they really, I guess you can say, strike it rich or really become wealthy in their 50s, let alone, so again, don't get caught up on the fact that you have to be a certain age to really, to accomplish. It's not about an age destination, or you have to be a certain age to do anything. Again, we have this comparison that I think, if anything, it just causes more distraction, and it's just not mentally healthy, in my opinion. You got to stick to you got to work on you and compete, or if you're going to compete with anybody, compete with yourself, and just making sure that you can answer the question, am I becoming better? Am I learning new things? Am I making good progress, right? You got to answer yes to those questions and keep answering yes to those questions, then you're on the right path. And the other thing is again, you're always preparing yourself in a way, right? By saving and by being good with your finances, being in control, because when that opportunity does arise, and whatever happens in the economy, or there's some type of business opportunity, etc., you want to make sure you're ready. And the sad thing is sometimes you're not ready, and then you missed out. Then that's a sad thing, right? When preparation meets opportunity, you want to make sure you're there. And and Isaac is well on his way. And so big congrats to the next 40, 50 years of your life. And it's going to be amazing because, again, he's already demonstrated that he's made commitments and he's able to follow through. So, and that's going to transfer to his personal financial journey as well too. So, yeah, this is my reaction to this great video and to know about Isaac's journey, and I wish him all the best. And I don't think he needs any wish from me. I know for a fact that he's well on his way to hitting his goals. So congratulations, and thank you for watching this video, and please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.